I was sweating profusely, my heart was pumping really fast, and on and off I hear the distant sound of that laughter, and I didn't know what to do, but I could only carry on walking in what to me were circles. Then suddenly someone called out to me.
I really don't feel good. I'm getting a vibe.
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.
So I was with my girlfriend at the time, currently my wife. We were volunteering with the University of Terengganu, Malaysia, for a sea turtle conservation project at Pulau Redang. So Pulau Redang has a beach that's closed off from the public. It's called Chagar Hutang Beach, and we were there for I think seven days. Tasks for a volunteer there would include cleaning up the beach during the daytime, and then doing patrols at night. We would sight turtles coming up to nest, and then we will alert the research team which will come over. And what they will do is they will do satellite tagging. They'll measure, the term that came out was anthropomorphic measurements, but no, it's animal, but measuring the weight, the length, the health of the specimen. We also document whether any eggs were laid and how many were laid. So it was during one of these nights that I was doing my patrol. So sometimes we do in teams, in teamlets, and sometimes we do it alone. So I was doing it alone, and I was walking along the beach. The beach was about, I think maybe 100 meters wide from the shoreline to the tree line. I was walking, and then in the middle of the beach, I suddenly heard a cackling laugh, which sounded like a bird. But being a naturalist, I'm till now I'm not sure what bird was it, or was it even a bird. But it felt like a maniacal kind of laughter, and it caused a lot of unease in me. I decided to walk slightly faster. Suddenly I felt fog enveloping me, and then I had a torchlight in hand. However, I could not make sense of the direction. I didn't know where was the tree line, where was the shoreline. I felt I was going in circles. I think it lasted maybe a good 20 minutes, and I was sweating profusely, my heart was pumping really fast, and on and off I hear the distant sound of that laughter, and I didn't know what to do, but I could only carry on walking in what to me were circles. Then suddenly someone called out to me. It's one of the volunteers, and then suddenly the fog just cleared, and then I found my bearings again. I could see the tree line, I could see the shoreline, and then we continued with the research project. There was a turtle landing that night. It was quite a large turtle. It was a 24 kg green turtle. I had problem restraining it, so I was holding it by the collar of the carapace, and then the end. It was actually quite flexible, and then it turned around, and then it nipped me on my arm, and then it wouldn't let go for quite some time. So this is a scar, and this is the birthday present the turtle gave me. It was on the 20th of February, which is my birthday. I did not try to rationalize it. If you ask me now, what was it? Is it a figment of my imagination? I honestly think it's not quite possible, because it was an extended period of time, and then those were very, very real things that happened, and well, at least the turtle was real. Yeah. Going there, I had some priming by the Perhilitan officer, Perhilitan officer is someone who safeguard the forest and the flora and fauna of Malaysian forests. I was told stories of tigers roaming the beaches of that place previously, and his experience was that there would be people who experienced their names being called, and then they would hear it in the beach, and then they would be attracted to go to that area. What he told me was these were actually the souls of victims of the tiger mauling, and now they are calling out for further victims for the tiger spirit. My dad owned a clinic, and he had two nurses at the time. One was a Chinese nurse, her name is T, and then the Malay lady, her name is Majida. and then her nickname would be Z, so it would be T and Z, the tag team. So T and Z. So one day, Mazida, her relative, passed on. So she went for the burial, and a few days after the burial, she came back to work, and then she was not herself. I think there was a sort of like a short blackout period, and then when she came to, she was saying that, why am I here? Who are you? And who changed my clothes? I was wearing a student uniform. How come it's different now? And we were all surprised by that. We continued the conversation while I think my parents informed her family. We were just like, offering her food and water when suddenly she jumped up from the chair and rushed towards the garage of the clinic. The car was not there at the time, so she was rushed and she was pounding at the metal door. And when you asked her what's going on, why are you like that, she said that somebody is coming for me. True enough, 5 minutes later, a pawang came. I think her family members called a pawang to come and to exorcise what they thought was a ghost. At that time, she was very, very strong. I think there were 3 adults trying to restrain her, and then she was so strong, and then none of us could restrain her. So my dad took a medication and injected her. I think it was probably IM haloperidol, which is antipsychotic. So at that time, what she mentioned, which I clearly remember now, is that, why are you jabbing me with a nail? Kenapa paku saya, was what she said. It is clearly a needle to me, but she mentioned that, why are you nailing me? So what I think at the time was that she probably, it was a possession, and then during the burial, this lady student ghost possessed this nurse, and then it was probably many years ago when the medical facilities were not so advanced, and she probably hasn't seen a hypodermic needle before, and then she referred to it as a nail, and this was how I made sense of it. Yeah. So after graduating in 2011, I requested to be posted to Borneo, Sabah. It was kind of crazy because from the Peninsular Malaysia, most people would avoid going to the land of hardship, or so they call the Borneo, because it's so hard to visit family. They even and then you are not sure after the house training, can you return to Peninsular Malaysia? So a lot of people do not want to go, so much so that the government actually gives you a hardship allowance. If you're from West Malaysia and you go over to Sabah or Sarawak, you'll actually get a hardship allowance. Anyway, so I was posted there. I completed my housemanship 2 years in Kota Kinabalu, Queen Elizabeth Hospital. There, I heard from the nurses a lot of stories of Balan Balan, which the same term for the entity is called penanggalan over in West Malaysia. So Balan Balan is basically a ghost. No, it's actually not a ghost. It's actually a human who does black magic, and then at night the head and the entrails would leave the body, and it seeks out blood. In the daytime, they could be normal humans like you and me, but what my nurses said to me at the time, they would usually wear a high collar shirt or a jacket, and they will zip here so that the line separating her head and neck is hidden. Yeah. So there's this particular one of the stories that I'll bring up here is that one of the matrons, matron is a very senior sister, a very senior nurse. She would tell me in the younger days, in the 1960s, 70s, where she would walk from her home to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. That time, sanitation services were not so advanced. Currently, what is currently the housing area, it used to be a empty clearing, and all the hospital waste would be placed there before it's carted off, which includes all the maternity beds, because before, at that time, Hospital Likas has not been built, which is the current Children and Women's Hospital. So the main block housed all the facilities and all the medical waste, including obstetric waste, is placed there. When she was walking to work in the wee hours of the morning, things will be flying overhead and going, and the dumping site is actually their feeding ground. And this happened throughout the years that she walked to hospital, but they never seemed to bother her. Yeah.
So that literally she sees heads flying over Balan
Yeah.
Balan,
Yes. Yeah.
feeding off the blood of the maternity pad and everything.
Correct.
As if it was stray dogs, stray cats eating off a dumpster. She walked past them and
Yes.
didn't flinch, didn't bother her.
Yeah. By the time that when she told me sorry, this happened many years ago. So what she told me was they didn't bother her, so she was not afraid also.
Wow.
Yeah. She didn't tell me the first experience how was it, but I think over the years she got used to it. Yeah.
I really don't feel good. It's like getting a
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You are listening to Supernatural Confessions.